Well, the breakfast show still continues with sport. I am Ijoma Victor. Now we'll give you updates coming from the African Cup of Nations in Morocco, where head coach of the Moroccan national team, Wahid Regragui, has rejected insinuations that his team are benefiting from contentious refereeing decisions as the host of the 2025 CAF African Cup of Nations ahead of their semi-final clash against the Super Eagles of Nigeria in Rabat on Wednesday. The Atlas Lions overcame Cameroon 2-0 in their quarter-final clash last Friday. But the victory came under scrutiny as the indomitable Lions were at the end of unfavorable calls during the games. Mauritanian referee Dihane Bieda was accused of denying Cameroon 2 penalties, with Morocco defender Adam Massina involved in both incidents. He opened to catch Brian Mbeumo's right boot after missing the ball when Cameroon were trying to level the match. Then, in the final minute, he also appeared to strike Eita Iyong's head with an elbow in the penalty area. Beda, who refereed the final at the last edition, also decided not to show Bilal El Khanous a second yellow card for stopping Dani Namosa on a counter-attack shortly before Ismail Saibari wrapped up the win. Now, there were also other calls against Morocco in the games against Mali and Tanzania, but Regragui dismissed the allegation. Morocco have played all their matches at the newly 70,000 capacity Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium in Rabat, where they will also face the Super Eagles of Nigeria on Wednesday. The stadium will also host the final on January 18. Both teams are undefeated, with Nigeria winning all 5 of their games, while Morocco have recorded 4 wins and a draw. Wednesday's game will be their 6th meeting at the AFCON. Morocco have won their 3 of those fixtures, while Nigeria have won 2. Now, this is also their first meeting in 22 years at the AFCON, and the second time they face each other in AFCON semi-finals. Nigeria won the previous semi-final clash in 1980, triumphing 1-0, courtesy of Felix Owolabi's 99th minute win en route to Nigeria's first title on home soil. Now we head straight to the camp of the Super Eagles, where Nigerian Super Eagles arrived Rabat on Monday afternoon for their 2025 African Cup of Nations semi-final encounter against the Atlas Lions of Morocco. The players and their officials were warmly received at their base rehab hotel following their arrival in Morocco's capital. The Super Eagles trained behind closed doors in Rabat on Monday as preparations intensify for Wednesday's African Cup of Nations semi-final clash against host Morocco. Nigeria's squad and officials arrived in the Moroccan capital from Fez on Monday afternoon and will be based at the rehab hotel, with the training session held at the complex Mohammed V. The team's media officer, Promise Efoge, said the decision to shut the session to the public was taken to allow head coach Eric Chell to conduct detailed tactical work away from outside scrutiny. Now, the move to Rabat follows Nigeria's 2-0 quarterfinal victory over the Desert Foxes of Algeria in Marrakesh, secured goals from Victor Osimhen and Akol Adams. After the match, the Super Eagles returned to their designated tournament based in Fez for recovery, in line with a new CAF policy assignment each team a fixed camp for duration of the competition. Nigeria's relocation now signals the final phase of preparations for the semi-finals at the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium in Morocco, after have played all their matches at the tournament. Now, the Super Eagles are aiming to reach their second finals since lifting the title back in 2013 and runners-up in the last edition in Ivory Coast. Efoge confirmed that the media will be granted access to the opening 15 minutes of Tuesday's training, that is today, before a squad resumes private drills. Now, there are no major injury concerns, with Ryan Alibosu continue to improve on his return to fitness. Captain Wilfred Ndidi has been walking pain-free following a hamstring injury, although medical staff are expected to reassess him to determine whether further scans are required. The midfielder, however, is suspended for the semi-finals after picking up 2 yellow cards earlier in the competition. Should the Super Eagles lose, they will travel to Casablanca for the third place on Saturday. Victory over the host will keep them in Rabat for Sunday's final as they continue their bid for a 4th continental title. The highly anticipated encounter will kick off at 9 p.m. Nigerian time. Away from the AFCON, we head straight into Spain, where Real Madrid have parted ways with Xabi Alonso as manager of the club after their 3-2 loss to Barcelona in Saturday's Spanish Super Cup. Alonso leaves the Santiago Bernabeu after just 7 months in charge, with the decision coming a day after the pulsating Clasico loss in Jeddah exposed ongoing concerns over Madrid's form and direction. The former Real Madrid midfielder endured a difficult start to his tenure, with issues from last season spilling into current campaign. Madrid's hierarchy issued an official statement confirming Alonso's exit, noting that the decision was mutually agreed. Alonso won 24 of his 34 games in charge of Real, but his side were booed off after a defeat by Celta Vigo last month, a loss which prompted an emergency meeting for the club's hierarchy to discuss Alonso's future. Meanwhile, Real Madrid forward Kylian Mbappe has reacted to the club's decision to part way with manager Xabi Alonso on Monday. Mbappe has said it was a pleasure to play under Alonso and express his gratitude for the confidence he has in him. It has been short, but was a pleasure to play for you and learn from you. Thank you for giving me the confidence since day one, he said. I will remember you as a manager who had clear ideas and know many things about football. Best of luck for your next chapter. Alonso only arrived from Bayern Leverkusen 7 months ago, but he has now left the Santiago Bernabeu amidst poor form and dressing room policies. And we head through the FA Cup draws in England yesterday. The draw for the 4th round of the FA Cup has been completed, setting up several intriguing fixtures involving Premier League and EFL sides when the competition resumes next month. Defending champions Manchester City have been handed a home tie against either Salford City or Sweden, while Arsenal will also play at home against Wigan Athletic. Chelsea face an away tie as they travel to Hull City, while Aston Villa welcome Newcastle United in one of the standout all Premier League encounter of the round. Liverpool, yes, will host Brighton, and also we look at the 3rd round play where Southampton take on Leicester City. Wrexham continue their impressive cup run with home fixtures against Ipswich Town. Other notable tie sees Stoke City face Fulham, Oxford United hosts Sunderland, and Grimsby Town welcomes Wolverhampton Wanderers. West Ham United travel to Burton Albion, while Burnley face Mansfield Town. The remaining fixtures include Norwich City versus West Bromwich Albion, Port Vale against Bristol City, Manchester hosts Bedford, and Birmingham City welcome Leeds United. The FA Cup 4th round matches will be played across the weekend of February 14. And in France, defending champions Paris Saint-Germain are out of the Coupe de France after a shock 1-day defeat at home to Paris FC. PSG won the trophy for a 16th time last season, but lost to their newly promoted City rival despite dominating the game. Jonathan Ikone, who started his career with PSG, scored the only goal of the game after a perfectly timed run on the break. Luis Enrique's side dominated, but FC goalkeeper Obed Nkambodio made several fine saves, including an injury time stop from a long-range Vitinha strike. Now, it was PSG's first last 32 defeat since 2014. The side met earlier this month in the first top-flight derby since 1990 as Desire Doué and Osman Dembele scored in a 2-1 win for the Champions League holders. Now, away from the Cup, we head straight to other sport, and we begin with cricket, where the Club Cricket Committee Lagos League is hitting new gear in the new year as the 2025-26 season hot up in the Premier and First Division to the excitement of the organizers and their headline sponsors. Now, action enters week 6 during the weekend. Now, the Premier League leaders, Ibeju Lekki Cricket Club, maintaining their strong start to the new year with a 3-wicket win over Rocks of Abeokuta. Government College of Ibadan also grabbed a 78-run win over MRI Warriors, while reigning champions Rising Star Cricket Club beat Federal Government College Warri by 8 wickets. The race for individual honors also intensified, with Rising Star Visual Sharma leading with the bat on 185 runs, while Dada Toluwase is topping the First Division with 161 runs. Now, on the bowling front, Chibezie Owuzulike of Rising Star is currently the league's most prolific bowler, claiming 11 wickets in Division 1. Marsh Sharma of Lagos Asian also top the chart with 11 wickets. Before the start of the 2025-26 season, the league organizers entered into a partnership with Sterling Bank, which has continued to elevate league standards, players' performance, established a high-performance platform for elite cricketers, and strengthen the sport commercial appeal. And from cricket to boxing, Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul Boxing Showdown in Miami last month generated the highest combined purse in 2025, raking in $276 million as the British heavyweight 6th-round knockout victory. Now, the December encounter at the Hard Rock Stadium, which saw Joshua stop the YouTuber star-turned-boxer, finished second overall behind Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. Now, the blockbuster in terms of overall impact, according to a comprehensive breakdown by besting Crawford's clash, which Alvarez in September topped the ranking. Now, with a final score of 94 points, benefiting from 1.5 million searches and an attendance of 70,400. Though the fight purse was lower at 200 million. Joshua versus Paul attracted 2 million searches and an attendance of 19,600, earning a final score of 90 points to finish as the second biggest fight of the year 2025. Alexander Usyk rematch with Daniel Dubois finished third with a final score of 76 points, generating 135,000 searches and the highest attendance of 90,000. The fight also carried a $200 million purse. Chris Eubank Jr. long-awaited clash with Conor Benn came fourth with 38 points, while Katie Taylor's trilogy fight with Amanda Serrano and Manny Pacquiao, the bout against Mario Barrios, rounded up to 10 points, which as Joshua successfully returned to the ring, came after his September 2024 defeat to the boys at the Wembley Stadium. The 36-year-old victory over Paul was his first since reclaiming momentum in his career. However, the former two-time world heavyweight champion was involved in a fatal car crash in Nigeria on December 29, just 10 days after the Miami fight, which claimed the lives of his closest friends, Sina Ghani and Latif Ayodele. And we wrap the show up with tennis, where Aryna Sabalenka prepared for the Australian Open with a comfortable victory over Marta Kostyuk to win the third Brisbane International title. Now, the world #1 took control of Sunday's final by rallying off 5 consecutive games from 4-4 in the opening set, taking just 79 minutes to win 6-4, 6-3. Sabalenka defeated her crown, probably defended her crown at the Queensland Tennis Centre, where she also won the title in 2023. Now, it was a perfect preparation for the 27-year-old Belarusian who is aiming for a third title in 4 years at the Australian Open, which begins in Melbourne on 18th of January. Sabalenka lost in the Melbourne Park final last year to Madison Keys, having been champions in 2023 and 2024. Now, Kostyuk, who had not won a set in 4 previous defeats by Sabalenka, settled herself after cancelling out an early break of serve, but lost her serve again in the 10th game, as her opponent stepped up her intensity to win the first set. The 16th seed was aiming for just a second WTA singles title in what was her first final in 2 years. For the Belarusian Sabalenka, and also what a way to prepare for the Australian Open that we go down in Melbourne in a couple of days. Big congratulations to Sabalenka. Well, this is where we wrap up Rapid Sport Highlight this morning, where more sports stories will unfold as the day progresses. And meanwhile, the breakfast show still continues with Mata Mata and Victor Ake. I am Victor Ijoma. Good morning.